Trump has absolutely zero chill left. I feel like the media's been wearing him down for the last decade, and it's finally broken the dam. He wants to fix the country, and honestly, I don't think he cares about what they're going to say about him behind his back. Today, we're going to be looking at the fight he's picked with the dumbest population in the United States. I don't mean this as a pejorative. I mean this as a fact. Coming in hot with an average IQ of 68. 192,000 Somalians face deportation. I broke my butt researching for this video, so honestly, you just need to sit back and enjoy the ride. We're gonna be looking at official statements. We're gonna be looking at the responses from the Somalian community. We're gonna be looking at people that have been already arrested from the Somalian community for generational rape. And we're going to talk about statistics and the way the media is very afraid because they're like, yo, you're not allowed to mention the fact that there's an entire rapist community because if you mention that, it's actually racist. We're supposed to let our children get blasted by these guys. It would actually be better to sacrifice our children for the sake of racism or something. So let's see what the Donald had to say.
And they contribute nothing.
Uh-oh.
The welfare is like 88%.
88% of the community on welfare. Yep, the backbone of America.
They contribute nothing. I don't want them in
I had a really hot take I was discussing with a friend of mine today, actually, another YouTuber guy. And I was actually talking to him and was like, bro, we need to do something about voting rights. And I was like, first things first, if you're on welfare, you can't vote. All right, what are we even talking about? You're coming into the country, you're a leech on the system, and then you're just going to vote to make the system worse. Sorry, I don't think so. Nothing personal. I hope your life is good. You just shouldn't have the right to vote. I feel like this would solve a lot of problems, actually.
Country, I'll be honest with you, okay? Somebody would say, oh, that's not politically correct. I don't
That's not politically correct, they say to Donald Trump. And what does he respond?
care.
I don't care. The most powerful words in the English language when it comes to shutting down the retard argument. That's right. That's racist? I don't care. That's not politically correct? I don't care. That's transphobic? I don't care. It's the ultimate response because realistically, what are they going to do about it? This is America. It's not England where they arrest you for speaking or Saudi Arabia or one of those other Muslim majority countries like France.
I don't want them in our country. Their country's no good for a reason.
Yeah, what's the reason, Mr. President? What's the reason? Why is their country no good, Mr. President? Could it be because the people have an average IQ of 68?
Their country stinks.
Ooh, woo-hoo, sounds like racism on Maine.
We don't want them in our country. I could say that about other countries, too. I can say it about other countries, too. We don't want them to hell. We have to rebuild our country. You know, our country's at a tipping point.
You know, the funny thing is, where's the lie? Like, I'm sorry, I don't want to be rude here, all right? It's big 2025 and they haven't figured out indoor plumbing, all right? I'm not trying to be rude here. But where's the lie? Why should we, a country that has our own problems, I'll be real, why should we import infinite people from the third world that, you know, honestly can't make their country livable? Like, how does it benefit us? Like, I'm not trying to be rude here or anything. I'm just trying to ask, like, the very obvious questions.
We could go bad. We're at a tipping point. I don't know if people mind me saying that, but I'm saying it. We could go one way or the other.
He's right.
And we're going to go the wrong way if we keep taking in garbage into our country.
Oh, my God. Did he call the Somalian community garbage? Oh, this is a tipping point, Mr. President.
Ilhan Omar is garbage. She's garbage.
Fact check. True.
Her friends are garbage.
Damn.
These aren't people that work. These aren't people that say, let's go, come on, let's make this place great.
That's right.
These are people that do nothing but complain.
God, he's so right.
They complain.
By the way, a lot of people haven't been paying attention to the polls. Ever since Trump started his, as they say, racist, bigoted rant against people that are coming into our country and making the country worse, objectively, ever since he started doing this, like since Thanksgiving, his poll numbers have been up by like 6%. I don't think you're recognizing how much this is resonating with the people.
And from where they came from, they got nothing.
Yeah.
You know, they came from paradise, and they said, this isn't paradise. But when they come from hell, and they complain, and do nothing but bitch, we don't want them in our country. Let them go back to where they came from and fix it.
Oh my God! Go back from whence you came.
Thank you very much, everybody.
We got a round of applause for that one. Like this is the common sense answer. All right, now a lot of people, especially on the left, they think that being anti-racist is more important than being correct. They think that being inclusive and having multicultural societies is better than actually acknowledging reality. And I am a big fan of reality and honesty, which is why there's two genders, and which is why importing a population of 200,000+ people with an average IQ of 68 is not gonna help our country tremendously. Where rape was legal 5 years ago, you know, you put that into a community, all of a sudden, boom, you have kids getting raped in this community at a higher rate for some reason that's so abstract I can't possibly put my finger on it. It's racist if I even consider the fact that these people might actually be raping children at a slightly higher rate. Now, the responses have been insane. I don't think people realize how much this is resonating, because one thing Trump did is he shifted the Overton window when he won this election. Like, just mentioning that there were two genders would get you fired from your job, and now it really is not just the public opinion, it was always the public opinion, but it's an opinion you could say. And honestly, this is something you could say now. First, they came for the gypsies, and I said nothing, for I was not a gypsy. Then they came for the Somalians, and I said, make sure you get all the Somalians. That's pretty fucked up. That's pretty fucked up. Now, obviously, there are going to be some Somalians that are contributing a lot, and there are great people and are contributing to the American way and have assimilated. Obviously, I'll be real, IQ is definitely a spectrum, right? If 68 is the average, then I'm sure you're going to have some really high-tech, intellectual, hive-mind geniuses with the solid IQ of 81. I'm sure there are a couple of those guys in the Somali communities that are absolutely doctors, lawyers, and engineers. So anyway, you don't understand, bro. Bro called them garbage, and he says they do nothing but bitch. Bro, this is the president of the United States, and he's finally saying it. Dude, they got this on every news site, on every camera angle.
Want them in our country. Let them go back to where they came from and fix it. Do nothing but bitch.
They do nothing but bitch. Thank you, Mr. President. Wise words. Bro, you don't understand.
Somalians ripped off that state for billions of dollars.
Fact check. True.
Every year. Billions of dollars. And they contribute nothing.
Oh, how could you say that?
It's like 88%. They contribute nothing.
But how could you say that about a whole culture?
I don't want them in our country, I'll be honest with you. Somebody say, oh, that's not politically correct. I don't care. I don't want them in our country.
Oh my God, dude. They got this on every news site, every channel, right? Just on repeat. And the funny thing is, every news site, and you can imagine what CNN's saying. What a bigot. What a racist. I can't believe Donald Trump would go out there and be so racist and bigoted to say that they're garbage and contribute nothing. But the message just resonates with more and more people because these titles don't matter. No one cares that he's called a bigot. He's right. He's right. This community is. I'm sure that there are individuals that are doing good. I'm not denying that. There's always a spectrum. But 88% on welfare, on unemployment. So we're importing people that we are now funding with our tax dollars. Like, you have to understand the level of scam that's going on. We import 1 million of them, all right? Housing prices go up, rape rate goes up, communities become shitholes, and we have to fund their lifestyles with our tax dollars. Like, it's unbelievable. And this is something that affects every single person in our country, all right? So yes, you could call him a racist and a bigot, but you can't call him wrong. Like, let's be real, they shitholified the country. How is he wrong? 3/4 of Somalis in Britain are in social housing. There's no point of them being here. Like, this is a stance that so many... This is a British guy. This is a stance that so many people are taking now because ultimately, reality trumps your feelings every single time. Yes, sure. Telling people that are retarded that, yes, of course you are in an alternate gender. You are the 17th gender. You're an astromorph, which is someone that identifies as space and colonoscopies. All right? Sure, that'll make them happy. Great. But it's also not true. And in my opinion, the honest truth trumps, a cushioned lie every single time. And if you read the book of Proverbs, that's essentially what the entire book is about. Honestly, the mass migration from separate countries, like Somalia, for example, has been a net negative on the country, and that's just an objective fact. An objective fact. We're paying more taxes, housing goes up, cities get worse, cities get less safe, there's more robbery in these cities. I'm not saying who the robbers are, it could be anyone. You know, realistically, they have scammed their taxpayers of billions of dollars every single year. Like, again, no, it's not all of them. Yes, it's enough of them. Like, bro, seriously, what are we doing? And everyone's losing their mind about this. How could Trump possibly call them garbage?
And rip off America. I'll tell you what does not add to our nation's character and integrity is refugees who come here under the alleged plight of asylum and fleeing persecution, and then come to the United States to abuse our system and rip off American taxpayers. And as I pointed out, the New York Times, to their credit, it was about 6 months too late, but they did write about how Somali immigrants in Minnesota have been ripping off American taxpayers. In fact, 86 people have been charged in a rampant and widespread fraud scheme spanning multiple programs in Minnesota. Of those 86, 78 of those people are Somali. 91% of them charged. So far, 59 of those people have been convicted for their roles in fraud plots that have stolen $1 billion from taxpayers. In one scheme, and this is egregious, a nonprofit and its affiliates with these Somali migrants claimed to have fed tens of thousands of American children during the pandemic. They were reimbursed for those meals by taxpayers.
That's right.
However, federal prosecutors found that almost all of those meals were never even delivered to hungry children. In fact, those organizations' leaders spent the money on houses, luxury cars, and real estate in Turkey and Kenya.
That's right.
Another scheme involved hundreds of organizations who were reimbursed for services that were supposed to help people at risk of homelessness. Once again, those services were never provided. All of this has happened under Democrat leadership in a Democrat-run state, where these refugees, these migrants are coming to the United States. They are abusing our system. They are draining our resources that should be going to law-abiding, taxpayer-funded, tax-paying Americans. And this president is not going to put up with it anymore.
Honestly, it's the most logical possible stance to have. We shouldn't import people that are defrauding us. And they're like, yeah, but it's not all the Somalians. You're right. It was just a giant fraud ring of 78 Somalians that ran a multi-billion-dollar tax fraud scheme under the nose of Tampon Tim Walz, the governor of Minnesota, and Ilhan Omar, a lady who, quite honestly, came in here allegedly through immigration fraud by marrying her brother, getting elected because we imported her entire voter base. These 200,000 Somalis that we imported all voted for her. So we imported her illegally, and then we imported an entire voter base to put her in power. And now we have to deal with this whiny bitch every day. If something happens, she decides to go out there and bitch about more things that this country is doing wrong. How Islamophobic it is. It's so Islamophobic that we remember the 3,000 people that were killed on 9/11. That's pretty Islamophobic. Because if you remember the dead, then you're going to also remember who killed them. And that might actually target innocent Muslims. So people, you don't understand, man. You don't understand the Trump double down. This was just like an hour ago at the time of recording this. This just happened.
The mayor of Minneapolis, Jacob Frey, is saying that he's actually proud to have the largest Somali community in the country, and his police chief
Then he's a fool.
He's a fool! Why?
Well, his police chief is also
I
saying
wouldn't be
he might...
proud to have the largest Somalian. Look at their nation. Look how bad their nation is. It's not even a nation. It's just people walking around killing each other.
This is a bunch of rocks and barbarians murdering. Bro!
Look, these Somalians have taken billions of dollars out of our country.
Facts, and that's just a straight fact. They're scamming us for billions of dollars, and they're sending that money to fund Al-Shabaab, a terrorist organization affiliated with Al-Qaeda in Somalia. But bro, that's got to be the craziest response I've ever heard. Jacob Frey, the mayor of Minneapolis in Minnesota, says, "I'm so proud of our Somalian community." Trump's response, "What? What a fool! He's an idiot. They suck. They're garbage." Why would he be proud? They come from a shithole. They're stupid people. I can't believe we're living on this timeline, man. I actually can't believe we're living on this timeline. We're living on the no fucks given timeline. Look, dude, I thought Trump was just willing to go out there and say whatever before, but he has truly ascended. Like, this is a new version of himself, and there's a reason why my guy's polls are up 6% over the last week. It's because he's actually willing to say the quiet part out loud. It's like, you're not allowed to know that the average Somalian has an IQ of 68, so maybe we shouldn't be importing them into our country en masse. You're not allowed to even say that, because that's actually a negative thing, and you can't say it because it's racist. But this is Nick Shirley. He went to Minnesota, and he noticed a couple of really interesting things.
Inside of this town of St. Cloud, this is one of the many Islamic centers here. This is a mosque here, but something that's super interesting about this mosque right here, it actually used to be a Lutheran church. You can see right here on the backdrop of this wall right here, this used to be a Lutheran church. So
interesting how often this happens. Wow, if that's not the most conquering thing I've ever seen in my life, I'm like, bro, this is actual invasion shit. Oh my God, dude. Oh my God, it's wild.
That just shows how much of the population has shifted from Christian to Muslim as far as the people in the population here inside of this town, as this used to be a Lutheran church, now it's an Islamic mosque. So right here is the St. Cloud University, and we were just at that mosque right there, and then if you go another block over, there's another mosque. And then what's interesting is right next—
2 mosques within 1 block. All right, interesting.
So this mosque right here, there's a Presbyterian church, so you have 2 churches right next to each other, one worshiping Allah, and the other worshiping God.
Notice how he makes a differentiation between Allah and God. Very interesting, very interesting. Not gonna comment on anything.
English? Speak English? No. Anybody speak English?
That's interesting.
How are you?
Good.
Good. How would you describe the rise of Islam here inside of Minnesota, or inside of St. Cloud?
We have talked to. It's coming.
And are you from Somalia?
Yes.
And what year did you come here?
Come here at 19.
What's attracting a lot of people to convert to Islam?
I don't really have much knowledge on that, but basically human life crosses and all that, you know, like.
So you're retarded. This is that 68 IQ I've heard so much about.
What's going on around the world and stuff.
What?
I think something like that.
And do the people here in Minnesota, are they very receptive to Islam here?
It depends, I guess. I don't know. I'm not sure.
And how long have you lived here for?
8 years.
8 years? And where are you from?
Somalia, Mogadishu.
And why are a lot of Somalians choosing to come here to Minnesota?
Different reasons, family.
They're coming to Minnesota to be with their family that came to Minnesota.
Ages, a lot of different reasons.
Yikes, man, bro. What are we doing to our country, bro? So this is him asking Minnesotans what they think about the Somalian community.
Do you guys think St. Cloud has been taken over by Somalis?
Hell yeah.
Bro,
How do you guys feel about the Somali
this kid comes out, hell yeah, dude.
Over?
Get out.
I don't
Bro, this kid's a patriot.
know.
He wants to be politically correct. He's like, yeah, I don't know. The kid's like, get them the hell out, man. Oh my God.
Want him here?
I mean, I'm fine with them. It's just that, it's overpopulated.
Yeah.
Do you feel like they're going to eventually overpopulate the Americans here?
Yeah, they definitely will.
And did you guys vote for them to come here?
Yep.
As far as did you guys have—
Welcome to the actual strategy of the Muslim Brotherhood. Invade the world, outbreed the locals, and take over. It's actually happening in front of our eyes.
have to pass any legislation in order to receive them?
No.
Oh, please. Oh, please. Vote? Are you insane? But you think people have actual power? This is the biggest fraud. Look at England, for example. In 14 or 16, there was Brexit, where England basically departed from the European Union. And essentially, they actually had a vote to stop immigration. They didn't stop immigration, even though the Stop Immigration Party won the vote. Because ultimately, you're getting played. You're getting played by the juggernauts. They know no one wants mass immigration. They do it anyway, because that's their plan for whatever their global agendas are, which I could give you a bunch of theories for it. But realistically, that's where we're at.
In your personal opinion, what's the biggest issue with them being here inside of you guys' city?
Driving. It's always a car crash for no reason.
They're like, bro, you have a donkey license, and then you come to Minneapolis and get a car? What are we doing? What are we doing? The last vehicle this dude drove had 1 horsepower, and it was a horse. Oh, no.
Robbing people.
Robbing people? Bro, this kid's awesome. Holy shit, he just says that out loud. Yeah. And he just says, yeah. Oh my God. Pirates.
Definitely crime. Pirates.
Crime and pirates. In Minneapolis, Minnesota. Oh my God, dude.
And the correlation between
Calling them pirates is racism, actually.
the Somalis and Muslims, are the majority of them all Muslims?
Yeah.
So 10 years from now, do you guys think the Somalis will be the majority here?
Yeah. Definitely.
Do you guys
Yikesos, yowzers, schmauzers. That's wild. All right, anyway. So, Ilhan Omar says that Trump's obsession with her is creepy. Because, you know, she's retarded. So Rapid Response 47 is like the White House Twitter account. It said, why did you marry your brother? Fantastic question. We've all been asking the same thing. Why did you marry your brother? So she responded with, I think, one of the most insane responses ever. I didn't, but is your president a pedophile? First of all, your president? Asmongold says your president with the Nazi meme. It's like, bro, you're not fitting in here. What do you mean your president? Bro, aren't you American? Isn't he your president too? The answer is, I guess, yes, technically. For now, before she's deported. But that's one. Two, I love when they do this, the is your president a pedophile? Asking it as a question to basically insinuate something like that's true, which is not proven. That's the craziest part. Like, if you look at this Rapid Response 47, they said, why did you marry your brother? Fantastic question. Because she actually married her brother. Then her response is, I didn't, a lie. But is your president a pedophile? Again, trying to imply that he's a pedophile with no evidence. And it's absolutely insane. Now, the super epic ultra irony here, that I'm going to take this an even further level. Ilhan Omar, your prophet Mohammed, peace be upon him, was a pedophile. You worship one. All right? Again, I don't bring this up normally because I don't think this is something to say to, like, your average Muslim guy that's just trying to live life or whatever. But, like, dude, you are not in the position to call anyone a pedophile. You literally worship one. You pray to one. He married a 6-year-old and consummated the marriage with a 9-year-old. This is the most glass house, throw stone situation of all time. That 68 IQ average is actually working in overtime over here. Right? We see the gears turning, actually in her mind. Unbelievable. Dude, so Trump's actually, he's been on a wild run. And he's been based as fuck, honestly.
But you always find something new. Like, is he in good health? Biden was great. But is Trump in good health?
That's the media.
I sit here, I do 4 news conferences a day. I ask questions from very intelligent lunatics, you people. I give the right answers. There's never a scandal. There's never a problem. I give you answers that solve your little problems. You go back and you can't find anything, but you do stories about Biden was in wonderful health. The guy didn't do a news conference for 8 months. If I go one day, I had one day where I didn't do a news conference, there's something wrong with the president.
True!
People are crazy. I'll let you know when there's something wrong. There will be someday. That's going to happen to all of us. But right now, I think I'm sharper than I was 25 years ago, but who the hell knows? But
yeah, damn. No, but he's just right. Dude, he's been on fire the last couple of days. All right, so this is the Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey. You might remember him from the greatest election in American history when he rallied the Somalian clans against a different Somalian candidate. And he won because he was able to reignite an ancient Somalian blood feud where he became Lisan al-Gaib and he united the Somalian factions together to his side in order to defeat a different candidate who was a communist Somali guy himself. One of the wildest upsets of all time. Now, don't get me wrong. This dude's a retard, douche, lib freak as well. All right? Let's not forget. He's a lib fag the same way the other guy was. The other guy also happened to be an Islamist communist. So I think this guy's better marginally. I just think that, dude, we're literally dealing with the bottom of the barrel. So this was his response to Donald Trump saying that you shouldn't be proud. You shouldn't be proud of your community because they're garbage. Holy shit.
That's not American. That's not what we are about. And we're going to do right by every single person in our cities.
Yeah.
And so, to our Somali community, Daman Shabka.
Bro!
Somalied Kunul. Minnesota, Garahan, Minneapolis.
This guy had to fucking learn Somalian to win an election in America. Like, what are we doing?
Waan Ku Janila Hai. Waan Ku Gereb Taganahan.
Yeah, my thoughts exactly.
That's
Bro, what are we doing? This is the craziest thing I've ever seen. So, Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey says he will refuse to cooperate with ICE and then begins speaking Somali in mid-speech. That's the craziest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Homeland Security responded, calls enforcing the law, not American. Immediately starts babbling in a foreign language. Fails to see the irony. Completely true. He's like, it is so un-American to deport these people. Again, not trying to be racist or anything. I'm just noticing. Somalia first. Proud to be from Somalia. Okay, buddy, back to Somalia you go. No, unfair. No, not Somalia. Pretty weird. Pretty weird. We're noticing. We get it. So, Tyler Oliveira, apparently he's in Minnesota as well. All right. So, this dude went to Somalia, to mini Somalia, which is currently in Minneapolis. And let's just say they didn't treat him super well.
Our families, like our parents' generations, you know, they're hoping to go back to Somalia or back home once it gets better, once it's safer, since that's where they were raised. But, you know, first generation born folks like myself
Can we focus on the interview posture? How you doing?
All right.
Do you get any benefits?
No benefit, but doing one job.
One job?
Yeah.
How you doing? What did you say? I think you said, fuck your grimy ass, come holler at me after, I'm not sure. Thank you. Appreciate you. I'm gonna walk that way around the mosque. Okay, I'm walking away.
Pulls gun out of his car.
Bro is reaching in to pull out a gun. Oh, that's sketchy. Huh.
Sprints at us with gun in his hand. Dude, what the hell? Bro, that's so scary, man. Somali gangster homie chased my cameraman and I down with what appeared to be a gun in his hand mid-interview in Little Mogadishu, Minneapolis. Holy crap, dude. Disclaimer, the dude who chased us does not appear in the video. Our footage audio mid-run does not do the interaction justice. Needless to say, the atmosphere is tense. Probably belonged to the same gang that threatened me until I left when I was in Cedar Riverside, not the friendliest place. Dude, what the hell, dude? Oh my god, that's insane. Why should we have towns like this in America, man? It's like, dude, we are literally giving... Okay, I'm not trying... Okay, I'm going to say something that's going to definitely sound rude. But we are giving... We're giving machine gun... Like, this is the chimp with a machine gun. Okay? Not to say that they're chimps per se, but, like, the metaphor here is that, their culture is not exactly the same as ours, or something. Yeah, you figure out the metaphor yourself. You're smart people. You're media literate. You'll figure it out. So, yeah, that's Jacob Frey talking about how he's so proud. Now, again, this is a writer for the New York Times, Wajahat Ali, New York Times writer, and he said one of the most diabolical. He made one of the most diabolical clips I think I've ever seen.
You have lost. You lost. The mistake that you made is you let us in the first place.
Yeah, we know. That wasn't actually a mistake. Mistakes implies they're not done on purpose. It was a purposeful strategy employed by the leftoids to destroy Western civilization, actually.
That's the thing with brown people. I'm going to say this as a brown person. There's a lot of us.
Yep, we know.
Like a lot.
Yep.
There's like 1.2 billion in India. There's more than 200 million.
I hope they have wonderful, happy, fruitful, beautiful lives in India.
Pakistan, there's like 170
I hope they have great, peaceful lives in Pakistan and learn to befriend their neighbors.
Million in Bangladesh.
I hope that those millions in Bangladesh live wonderful, fruitful, happy lives in Bangladesh specifically, and not incur violence on their neighbors.
People there. I'm even talking about the folks who are expats or immigrants. There's a bunch of us. And we breed. We're a breeding people. And the problem is you let us in 1965. There were a few of us beforehand, but once you let one of us in, you know what happens with brown folks? Our grandmother comes, our grandfather comes, our uncle comes, our aunt comes, our cousin comes, our second cousin comes, our third cousin comes. Then we have kids, a bunch of kids. And then guess what? Some white women, you know, the Western civilization women, the pure women, the American women, quote unquote, the Rust Belt women, the real women, they like some of us brown folks. We don't take them. They come to us. So we're embedded. We are everywhere. We are everywhere. I've traveled this country. I'm going to speak as a brown person. Brown people are everywhere.
True.
There will be a Patel Motel or there will be a Desi restaurant everywhere.
True.
I want you to realize this. You have lost. Your story is a shitty story filled with misery. It's filled with bland chicken. It's filled with terrible dry ass meat. Your music sucks.
Okay.
All your culture sucks.
Okay.
Nobody. That's why the kids like listen to black people and their music. That's why the kids love Latinos.
For the most part, they don't.
Your parties
okay.
suck because they're monochromatic.
Okay.
Our parties have better food, better music, better looking women.
All right. So why are you? That last one took me for. But all right, we're not gonna get involved. All right. Listen, everyone has the right to an opinion. Everyone has the right to have their own preferences. Okay. All right. All right. Anyway. All right. Sorry, he really set me for a loop there with that last one. No, but the reality is. This guy's an enemy of our country. He wants the destruction of the West. He says he hates our culture. He wants the destruction of the West. I don't think that this is someone that we should keep as a citizen in our country. Even if he is an actual citizen here, I think he lied in his oath. He lied in his oath to become a citizen, and he basically came in here under false pretenses, not to actually preserve and protect and make our culture better, but actually as an insurgent foreigner that is literally here to outbreed and destroy us. I think he basically says it. This guy works for the New York Times, for the record. Matt Walsh made an entire video on this one little clip, and I didn't see his video, but I saw that he made one. And to be honest, I don't think I've ever seen someone make the case better for why we need mass deportations and to stop immigration than this guy, who basically said, you let in a few of us and we are going to bring our entire extended families, outbreed you, and destroy your culture. Western culture, founded on biblical values, the greatest, bar none, culture on the planet, and every other culture in the world is worse. That's right, including yours, Mr. Wajahat Ali. It's worse. It's a worse culture. Now, obviously, this is my opinion. You probably disagree with that. I don't care, but you're here. You're not there. You know why you're not there? You're here because here's better than there. You know why? Because it's based on biblical values, and that's the best value system ever designed by God. And you might not like it, you might cry, you might bitch, you might talk about all the problems with America, but there's a reason why you're here, and you're not back where you came from. Let's be honest with ourselves for a second. You lost this debate the moment you moved to America. All right, anyway, this is Tim Walz. He's the governor of Minnesota, and he has allegedly been involved in multiple of these fraud rings that are done and perpetrated by the Somalian communities. Now, let's take a look at a couple of things he said in the past.
Donald Trump has done. He's normalized this type of hateful behavior.
Right. This is him going on MSNBC, I think, because Trump called him the seriously retarded Tim Walz. Absolute cinema, Donald Trump. You are truly the GOAT. A wordsmith of our time. Shakespearean, I would say. He called him seriously retarded, which is correct. So this was him saying, I can't believe Donald Trump would normalize this hatred. He goes on a media run, how he's some massive victim because he was called retarded, when in reality, he's also a faggot. But they only called him retarded. So Donald Trump, you get half points. Next time, call it a retarded faggot, you'll get full points. Top marks.
And this type of language. Well, maybe it's time for us to be a little meaner. And when it's adult like Donald Trump, you bully the shit out of him back. Well,
all right, so this is him saying in the past that we have to bully the shit out of Donald Trump. But Donald Trump calls him retarded and he plays victim and runs around the media. Yep, classic. That's the victim game.
We should demonize as people like Elon Musk.
Demonize people, he says. Last time I checked, when you demonize people, they get murdered, right? Did you notice that? You notice the assassination attempts that happened on Trump? You notice when Charlie Kirk was murdered?
I will say this. The last few days you woke up thinking there might be news.
This is him referring to news that maybe Trump died.
Just saying. There will be news sometime. Just so you know, there will be news.
Yeah, that Trump will die. That's what that was referring to. So he'll do his generational rump, praying for Trump's death, demonizing Elon Musk, saying we have to bully the shit out of people like Trump, and then Trump will call him retarded and he'll do a media run crying in everyone's arms about how this hatred and evil is normalized. Nah, sorry, dude. Sorry, bro. You're the villain here, and it's really obvious, okay? It's really obvious that the left is evil. Like, it's honestly shocking that people don't realize exactly how evil it is. The only people that support this, in my opinion, actually do want some sort of violent revolution. And they don't care about rules. They don't care about principles. They don't have any principles. Because bullying the shit out of Donald Trump, that's valid. But if Trump uses the R word, retard, on Tim Walz, well, that's too far. He's normalizing bigotry. This is the game that's being played. They will shoot us and celebrate, and then say we need to tone down the evil rhetoric when we say we don't actually like the idea that you're aborting 1 million children a year. And that's demonization. However, you killing us, that's just It's just a fringe guy who went out and did a pretty crazy thing. And then they'll whitewash all those stories and make believe, oh, it was actually a MAGA guy that killed Charlie Kirk. They're still saying that on the left, by the way. They're saying that because that dude's family was Mormon, that it was a MAGA guy that killed him, even though he was a gay, retarded, furry shit bag. So anyway, let's not forget another thing that happened in Minnesota, because I think it's important to note. There was 1 out of 67. Out of all the Democrats, all the lawmakers in Minnesota, there was 1 Democrat that voted to end healthcare for illegals in Tim Walz-run Minnesota, Melissa Hortman. She was murdered by Vance Bolter, who claimed Walz also wanted to kill Amy Klobuchar. Walz made Minnesota a disaster. Let's not forget, she was a Democratic lawmaker, all right, but by the name of Melissa Hortman. She was murdered by a guy named Vance Bolter, who, for the record, was a special appointee by Tim Walz in the past, okay? She was the only one that voted against giving money to illegals. Now, I'm not saying that he was involved or anything, but I am saying that it's pretty suspicious, and we should be asking questions about this. It's a lot less open and dry than anything else. Dude, the Somalians have been coping in some of the funniest ways I've ever seen. All right, so this is a Somalian lady in Minnesota saying, now, why would I leave when I was promised this land 3,000 years ago? Yeah, they're having a real one there in Somalia. They're in little Somalia. They're trying. I respect it in my own way. They're coping in the best way possible. So this is the Minneapolis police chief, who's not yet Somalian, even though he's surrounded by 84 Somalians to make sure that they realize exactly who's in charge. And this is what he had to say.
Folks that are masked, that they're not sure if they're law enforcement, that they may be kidnapping people. Like, we have had those reports. I want to be clear to the community. The community should know that if you see something like that is legitimate, that you don't know if someone is law enforcement, you should call 911. And you should provide as much information as possible, because let's not forget, we very recently had tragedy in this state by someone who was purporting to be law enforcement. So please, let's be clear. That's something everyone should report, and that we will immediately respond to, and we will document. Whether it's somebody's not sure if there's a kidnapping happening, somebody's not sure if there's law enforcement.
Sure.
And that's something else, that's additional policy requirements that we are implementing.
Basically, he's saying that whenever ICE shows up, you have to make believe you're a dumbass and be like, I didn't actually know if it was ICE or if it was someone else. And then you call 911 on the ICE officers trying to get illegal aliens out of our country. In my opinion, this is insurrection. Like, these people need to, these people are actually fighting against the government. Like, bro, look at this, man. This is insane. Minneapolis police chief demanding Somalians and residents to call 911 on ICE if they start arresting third world migrants with a mask on and accuse them of kidnapping. Dude, this is the craziest thing ever, man. I think that these people need to be treated like they are, like what they're actually doing. They're obstructing justice in the most obvious fashion ever. And Trump needs to be even heavier-handed. So this was Tom Homan's response to that. He's the border czar.
Look, I'll say the same thing I said to other chiefs of police in sanctuary cities. Shame on you. I mean, your number one responsibility is the safety and security of your communities.
Yep.
And ICE is targeting...
Don't worry, guys. I'm going to show you the most racist, hateful, bigoted, radicalizing thing at the end of this video. Crime statistics.
Criminals. So for you not to partner with ICE to make your community safer is shameful.
True.
He ought to put his badge in the desk drawer and walk away. Because
straight facts.
He stopped being 100%. A cop and become a politician. If a true law
That's
enforcement
right.
official would work with ICE, okay, look, I don't want to be an immigration officer. I'll leave that to you guys. But when we have an illegal alien public safety threat in the community, I want to be shoulder to shoulder with you. I want to help you make my community safer, because the chief of police, that's my number.
Because they're playing politics instead of actually playing police. They're playing a different ball game entirely.
One responsibility. If he wants to watch, stand aside, do it. But if you cross that line, Pam Bondi and her U.S. attorneys are waiting to prosecute anybody that impedes law enforcement, ICE law enforcement, Border Patrol law enforcement in doing their job. Zero tolerance for impeding.
100%. These people all need to go to jail. Every single person that's impeding law enforcement from doing their job needs to go to jail for obstruction of justice. And if they are a migrant, they should lose their visa status. And they're even if they are technically legal here, they should lose their documentation. Obstructing law enforcement? What are you doing? We're importing you into our country. We're letting you stay here, and you're obstructing our law enforcement from protecting our people. I like, dude, we need to do something a lot more radical about this. Like, you know, Trump honestly needs to say, fuck the media. They hate me anyway. I don't care. We're mobilizing the shit out of this. We're getting rid of them. Trump actually needs to do that. And until he actually decides to do that, this issue's not going to go away. Secretary Kristi Noem said, I just met with the president. I am recommending a full travel ban on every damn country who's been flooding our nation with killers, leeches, and entitlement junkies. Our forefathers built this nation on blood, sweat, and the unyielding love of freedom, not foreign invaders to slaughter our heroes, suck dry our hard-earned tax dollars, snatch benefits owed to Americans. We don't want them, not one. This is 117,000 likes and 12 million views. I don't think people realize exactly what the public sentiment is, and it's insane. In fact, in regards to this travel ban, Trump once again, I've sporadically, strategically placed Trump clips throughout this entire video because I'm crafting a narrative as we build to the crescendo. I basically started designing all my videos as mini movies. I got so much good feedback on them. I decided, you know what, we are going to do the research deep dive on these videos individually. So I hope you like it. Definitely subscribe. I am shadow banned. My videos don't get shown to non-subscribers. So anyway, let's see what Trump had to say about the travel ban.
I opposed historic tariffs that are now bringing in so much money that nobody's ever seen anything like it. And countries that were ripping us off, including allies, but they were ripping us off for years. I won't use the names. I won't mention...
He won't use the names of the countries that are ripping us off. Thank you, Mr. President. Now, don't pull a Kanye. All right, he will not use the names.
Japan. I refuse to mention South Korea. I will not mention names. But they were ripping us off like nobody's ever been ripped off before.
This is Kanye West saying, I went to a doctor. I'm not going to say the ethnicity or the religion or the nationality of the doctor. It was a Jewish doctor. Bro actually pulled out the Kanye on this one.
And taking horrible advantage of your country. But now we're making a lot of money.
Yep.
We're making a lot of money
tariffs,
because
baby.
of the tariffs that are pouring in.
Yes.
And it's really national security among everything else. It's
honestly true. Honestly, just completely correct. I will not mention names. I won't name a single one. I will not mention Japan. I will not mention South Korea. So this is on Tim Walz. So Tim Walz, he's been getting blasted by the media because even though he's a Democrat, he's still getting blasted by the New York Times, for example, because he's allegedly taking part in a $6.5 billion scam in Somalia. And he there's two options, all right? And it's important to note that this is where we stand. Tim Walz is the governor of a very obvious scam in Somalia that basically everyone that started looking at it immediately figured out it was a scam. So there's two options. Option one, Tim Walz knew about it and he's complicit, and he actually took part in this scam. I don't know if it was because he wanted to make the voters happy. I don't know if it's because he actually made money off of it. Either he knew about it. That's option one. Option two, he was tricked by a population with the average IQ of 68. I can't figure out which is funnier. So this is Trump talking about Tim Walz.
okay. There's something wrong with him.
True.
And when you look at what he's done with Somalia, which is barely a country, you know, they have no anything. They just run around killing each other.
Oh my God, dude, he does this every time.
And when I see somebody like Ilhan Omar, who I don't know at all, but I always watch her for years. I've watched her complain about our Constitution, how she's being treated badly. Our Constitution, the United States of America, is a bad place. Hates everybody, hates Jewish people, hates everybody.
Fact check? True, she does hate Jewish people. It's true. It probably has nothing to do with the fact that she's a Muslim. But yeah, anyway, she does hate Jews. Yeah, definitely.
And I think she's an incompetent person. She's
fact check?
Real,
also true. Couldn't even marry your brother properly.
Terrible person. But when I watch what is happening in Minnesota, the land of 1,000 lakes, or however many lakes they have, they got a lot of lakes.
A lot of lakes.
This beautiful place, and I see these people ripping it off, and now I'm understanding, and you're going to look...
Pillaging our land, baby.
That's good. I hear they ripped off Somalians, ripped off that state for billions of dollars.
Yep.
Billions.
Yep.
Every year.
Yep.
Billions of dollars. And they contribute nothing.
Bro, he is so dead set on this specifically because I think that honestly, once you get this Somalian thing across, you could start working on other areas. But I feel like this is the easiest pill to swallow, because realistically, like, you look at this for just a second, you have a community that we brought in that scammed us for billions of dollars a year, that is 88% on welfare, all right, that we are funding, all right, that are quite frankly ruining Minnesota, like, to some degree. Minnesota is an objectively worse place right now because of mass immigration. And the reality of the matter is, I feel like this is going to be the easiest pill to swallow, to say, no, actually, we don't want to import half of Somalia into Minnesota. Somalia is a shithole. It's literally one of the worst places on the planet. I'm not gonna lie. It's like they're so proud that their culture is, like, you know, since the Bronze Age. But I don't know why you would be proud if your culture has been around since the Bronze Age, but is still in the Bronze Age. You know, like, I'm not trying to be rude here. I'm just being honest. This is after 1,400 years of inbreeding. You had to put the dumbest fucking population on the planet. I'm not trying to be rude. 50% of Somalia married their first cousins, or closer. Some married their brothers. So, no, I'm not actually surprised at all that they've produced the dumbest population on planet Earth. So I think he's starting with Somalia, because this is a really easy one. Once he can get people on board with stopping third world immigration, with mass deportations, with denaturalizations, maybe even, if it's coming to people that are fraudsters or lied in their actual immigration oaths and stuff, if he can actually get people to swallow that pill, he can start focusing on other areas, maybe certain areas in New York, Michigan, Illinois, who knows. But the reality is, this is the easiest pill to swallow. This community has been a net negative in our country, by every possible metric. And that's the funniest thing. People are refusing to acknowledge the fact that they have objectively made our country worse, objectively, by any metric possible. And this is completely undeniable, even though there are outliers, and I'm sure that some people have actually assimilated to American culture. The vast majority of them obviously have not. And that's without a shadow of a doubt. So if you can get people, the public, to acknowledge and swallow this pill, that yes, it is true that importing another population that has objectively abhorrent values compared to ours does make our country worse, I think that you could start moving on to other places. I think people aren't realizing exactly how big this snowball will be as it continues rolling down the mountain. At least that's what I'm hoping for. So Kash Patel scared the shit out of the people in Somalia today. I keep calling Minnesota Somalia because that's kind of what it's become. But they're shaking in their boots right now.
Derogatory or criminal information or terrorist ties, and we are going to do that mission.
Based. And so, as we know, the #1 funder of the Al-Shabaab terrorist organization in Somalia, Al-Qaeda-tied terrorists, the #1 funder of their entire organization is the Minnesota taxpayer. They are the #1 funder of the terrorist organization Al-Shabaab, because the Somalian community is just sending back billions of dollars a year to their homeland in Somalia, which they are actually super loyal to, as opposed to the United States, which they hate and want to destroy from the inside. Pretty weird.
Mr. Director, another big issue that is concerning Americans, and it involves the refugee community, but in Minnesota, is the Treasury Department's investigation of that massive fraud there in the Somali community. So how is the FBI working that, and what can you tell us tonight, given the plethora of reporting and the defensive posture of both the mayor and the governor of Minnesota?
And that's the left, and the left is like, no, leave my inbred community of scammers alone.
Tim Walz.
What I can tell you is the FBI let out on an investigation, and we publicized it months ago. We've got 78 people that have been arrested pursuant to our investigation, along with the interagency.
All 78 of them are Somalian. Now, you probably think that's a coincidence. I personally think that that is probably the most obvious pattern in the history of patterns.
And that investigation is very much ongoing.
It was the Jews! 78 Somalians arrested. I can't believe the Jews would do this.
We are not finished. It was one of the largest fraud scams ever committed in the state of Minnesota history, and we are going to continue to interview and subpoena anyone involved with this case. It is very much ongoing and live.
There are a lot of foreign interests that seem to be causing trouble in the...
Yeah, I've noticed. So yeah, anyway, and they're running defense for them. They're like, no, why would you arrest these Somalians, these innocent people? They're so stupid, they didn't even know that. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't want to be rude to all the Somalians. I'm sure that some of them have IQs in the 80s. So, breaking news, U.S. Treasury launches an investigation into to Minnesota Governor Tim Walz for allegedly mishandling taxpayer funds. Bro is getting House of Cards. I don't think people realize this guy was going to be the vice president of the United States if the Democrat strategy would have actually worked out. And now we know why. Because ultimately, the entire liberal globalist ideology that's literally running amok in the entire Western world is all about opening borders and importing infinite retards. And I think that the reason why they selected Tim Walz to be the vice president for Kamala Harris when she ran for president was because of his policy of close your eyes, put your fingers in your ears, go la 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 la, and let in infinite third worlders. I think that's why they chose him to be the vice president. Obviously he lost, thank God, and America gets to live because I don't think America would have survived a Kamala Harris term. To be quite honestly, I just don't think we would have ever been able to claw our way back. Now we're on a tipping point, but that would have pushed us over the edge. So Tim Walz, this is crazy. A Tim Walz donor and former Minneapolis Chamber CEO, Jonathan Weinhagen, I don't know, expected to plead guilty to 5 counts of bank and wire fraud after embezzling over $200,000.
Now to what's being called devastating news. That's the reaction just in to crimes a former Minneapolis chamber leader is accused of.
Jonathan Weinhagen is facing federal fraud charges tonight.
Callan Gray has been digging into the...
It's almost like Tim Walz is the fraud capital of the country. Like this dude is a generational alleged fraudster.
Accusations. She's live in Minneapolis right now with what she's found.
Tonight, there are new calls for accountability from those personally affected by the crimes he's accused of. One grandfather of a shooting victim calling it unbelievable.
Yikes.
The indictment says from December 2019 through June 2024, former Minneapolis Regional Chamber of Commerce president and CEO Jonathan Weinhagen embezzled, quote, hundreds of thousands of dollars from the chamber and its business members.
Wow, another one in Minnesota, eh?
It says he entered into sham contracts.
Bro, Trump, you gotta crack down on these guys. Like, you gotta absolutely buckle down and get these people fucking arrested, man. Like, I don't care that they're governors. I don't care that they're mayors. If they're obstructing justice, they have to go to jail. They have to. And until powerful people go to jail, not gonna be rude. Until powerful people go to jail, no one will be happy. No one will have faith that this could change. Everyone will believe that we are just so lost in the swamp. So this is Kristi Noem, and she dropped a nuke on Tim Walz, because now I'm focusing a little more on Governor Tim Walz, because this dude needs to go. Not die, obviously. Needs to face justice. I don't want my words to get misinterpreted.
Minnesota and their fraud on visas and their programs, 50% of them are fraudulent, which means that wacko Governor Walz either is an idiot or he did it on purpose. And I think
50% of visas given in Minnesota are fraudulent. 50% of visas. First of all, get them all out. No questions asked. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200 back to Somalia. What are we talking about? 50% of them are fraudulent, which means Walz is either an idiot or did it on purpose. I think he's both. Of course I think he's both. Fraudulent visa applications signed up for government programs took hundreds of billions of dollars from taxpayers. We're going to remove them and get our money back. I doubt we'll get our money back, but they should be removed at the very least. That's insanity. Absolute insanity. 50% are fraudulent. I want to see actual members of government held accountable, because you were given a duty to protect our country, to represent our people, and quite honestly, you did not do that. You let this happen, bro. You absolutely let this happen. You let our country get raped. There absolutely needs to be accountability for these guys. And until Trump and the Department of Justice actually starts putting powerful people in jail, I don't want to hear about progress. That's how serious I am about it. Ilhan Omar made like this big response, a big super response to Trump calling her out and calling her garbage.
He's always been a racist, a bigot, a xenophobic, and Islamophobic.
I am going to mention all of the phobics, the phobes, and the ists, so we can destroy him. This isn't gonna work, lady. You could keep swaddling yourself in your hijab. This will not work on anyone, man. No one cares about being labeled racist or xenophobic or Islamophobic. No one gives a shit. That's over. And also, for the record, saying that we don't want to import people with an average IQ of 68 that have committed billions of dollars of fraud yearly is not racist. It's honestly logical as hell, man. It really is. It's insanely obvious and logical. Obviously, our cultures are not meshing. And I'd love to know how Ilhan Omar, someone who was worth just 5 years ago, she was worth nothing and she was broke, and now she's worth tens of millions of dollars in Congress. Tell me that that was all done legally.
We know that he called African nations a shithole.
They are shitholes. That's not racist. Like, can we stop just calling things that are true racist? Crime statistics aren't racist. Reality isn't racist. The truth trumps your feelings. I'm sorry. I can't deal with this like hyper-feminized bullshit garbage that you hear spewing out of the media all the time, right? The truth matters so much more than your feelings do. Any country on the planet that does not have indoor plumbing is a shithole. And if they can only survive because they are being fed and their infrastructure is being given to them by Western nations is also a shithole. Nothing against them. I hope they figure shit out. I hope their populations do wonderful jobs and lead beautiful, meaningful lives. But they're in a shithole. Let's not dance around reality, okay? You come from Somalia, literally one of the worst countries on the planet.
His first administration, we know that when he came down that escalator, he said he was going to stop Muslim immigration into this country, and so it is not surprising.
Why is that racist? Again, this has nothing to do with racism.
That he is going after black immigrants in this country, and it's certainly not.
I don't know why you say he's going after black immigrants. He didn't stop all immigration from certain countries, that he probably should, but he didn't stop all immigration from certain countries.
Surprising that he's choosing a black immigrant community that is also Muslim. But what I would like to say is that
no, he's choosing the Somalian community is because they are leeches and parasites on the country. I think that's why he chose the Somalian community. And obviously, again, it's not every person in the Somalian community. It's not every single person on an individual level. But the community is defrauding us for billions of dollars a year. 88% of them are on welfare that we are literally funding with our tax dollars. They are a net negative on the country by any possible metric. And yelling racism isn't going to change the reality that these people are a net negative on our country.
Most of us are citizens. On our passport, it says we are nationals of this country.
Yeah, we are nationals of this country that are sending billions of dollars that we've defrauded from your people back to terrorist organizations back home in Somalia. We're citizens. We have a piece of paper. That's right. We're going to use your liberties against you. If I was doing this in Somalia, the terrorist organization that's governing the place would literally execute me in the street. But over here, we're going to use your liberties against you.
We love that Minnesota has welcomed us. Many of us have not been settled in Minnesota. We chose it as a home because the Minnesota people and the state is beautiful and very welcoming.
Yeah.
And we are going to be here regardless of what the president has to say.
Regardless of what the president says, regardless of the law, regardless of legalities altogether, we're here to stay because colonizers are evil unless we're the colonizers, in which case it's good. Colonizers are bad when it's you guys doing it, but it's really cool when we do it. Thank you. Literally, you've described Islam in a very, very cute way there. That was nice. With a nice smile and a nose ring, so that's cute. So this is Omar Fateh, the guy who lost the mayor election in Minnesota to Frey. ICE has been seen all over Minneapolis, abducting our neighbors. You mean deporting terrorists or criminals, right, from the streets and their homes based as part of the operation. Good shit, ICE. Please share this thread with your friends and neighbors to make sure they have access to the resources necessary to protect each other. This is obstruction of justice. I want to see Omar Fateh in jail. I want to see him in jail. Why are we playing this game? This tweet is obstruction of justice. You are literally warning people to fight law enforcement. There is no possible way where this is legal. ICE is targeting Somali neighbors who are undocumented. Yes, absolutely. They're illegal aliens. Undocumented. It means they broke into our country illegally, okay? Or have final orders of removal. So let me get this straight. They're crying and crying about due process. He is making tweets running defense for Somalis who have judge orders that they need to be removed for whatever reason, probably because they're illegal and also violent criminals, And he's literally making an entire tweet thread running defense for them about ICE immigration and trying to track them down and stop them. Observe ICE activity to try to do your absolute best to stop them. This is obstruction of justice. I want to see this guy in jail. Like, it's so frustrating needing to play this game. There is no reason why this guy is not in prison. There is no reason why we need to live in a lawless society just because so many people are breaking the law. Crack the shit down on this stuff. We can't function this way. Trump won the election, mandated by the American people to do exactly what this person is fighting against. This is an anti-democratic, anti-American guy who is honestly insurrecting against the government and obstructing justice. He needs to go to jail. It's so tiring, man. Oh my God. Every single time. This is disgusting. Trump continues to put a target on Ilhan Omar. Based, her family based, her community W, with his violent xenophobic rhetoric. None of this was xenophobic. None of this was violent. It was just completely and utterly, based. Yeah, let's actually deport people that are defrauding us. Yeah. A lawmaker in her home state of Minnesota was killed this year in an act of political violence. Killed by an appointee of Tim Walz. I love how no one actually says this out loud. Bro, are you really going to send ICE to Minnesota after someone was killed in Minnesota? Bro, this lady in Minnesota was killed by an appointee of Tim Walz. Hello? What? Not by an ICE agent. That alone should unite us against this hate speech. It's such unbelievable, disingenuous bullshit. So, you just look at this tweet, it's crazy. Trump didn't put a target on Ilhan Omar. He wasn't violent. He wasn't xenophobic. A lawmaker was shot, true, but by an appointee of Tim Walz. And it's also not hate speech, because hate speech doesn't actually exist in America. There's no such thing as hate speech. Because we have a constitution that you like to quote falsely and wrongly. I personally am more united against giant communities of fraudsters, but anyway, I guess we all have our own priorities. I fight for the American people. You fight for our enemies. I guess that makes it pretty clear. Yeah, we saw that retard already. So this is a Somali in Minnesota absolutely freaking out that people are checking their citizenship status.
I'm a citizen of this country, and they take me off and they hold me, they detain me here. I don't know what they're doing. I have no idea. These guys are so stupid. I don't know what they're talking
about. What they want to see.
What do they want to see, sir?
My passport.
Your passport?
I give my ID, I give my passport ID, everything.
All right, and then they didn't
listen to me.
All right.
They want to talk to,
that's nice, and then they left you here.
They said they take an interview. I don't know why they take interview here.
They asking me, have you been interviewed or what?
Makes sense.
No, I haven't been interviewed. They said they're going to take interview, and soon as you come, they said it's going to be hot, so they just run off. They took it off. Because of you guys, they just they didn't want you to involve with it.
Right.
Yeah.
Can I get your name, or do you want to give that?
My name is Ali.
Can you spell it?
Ali, and last name Dahir.
How long you been in the country?
Excuse me?
How long have you been in the country? I'm just curious.
Telling me what? 25 years.
Yeah.
Wow. So, anyway, seems like this guy wasn't arrested and deported. Seems like he wasn't detained. Seems like ICE is actually not just pulling people off the streets. And seems like they're all absolutely terrified because they were literally being fear-mongered to by the media that was telling them Trump is literally coming for you. He's going to kick out all the black people. When in actuality, no, he's only kicking out the illegal aliens that are invading our country and parasites on the system. It's kind of crazy how that keeps happening. Wow. So now I'm gonna hit you with the final twist of this video. This is a guy who was just arrested in Minnesota. Okay, as you can see, the story is going a little bit viral. This has 50,000 likes and 1 million views on this one tweet alone. This twice convicted rapist by the name of Abdiamet Billy Mohammed, police be upon him, who served no jail time for either rape, including on a minor victim, was just arrested for kidnapping a woman, holding her hostage for days, and raping her. So let's make this clear. This is a guy who was convicted of 3 separate rapes, including raping children. All right, are we on the same page? Now, the first 2 times he was caught raping people, one of them being a child, one of them being an adult, it seems, he was released from custody with 0 jail time for either of these 2 rapes because, well, that's just his culture, guys. Are we really gonna keep someone in prison for literally enriching our culture, for some cultural enrichment, guys? If this doesn't make you sick, I don't know what does. All right, this is the most sickening story of all time. All right, so hold on. That was not for now. So meet Abdiamed Billy Mohammed, police be upon him. In 2017, He raped a 15-year-old girl and was sentenced to 13 months. He served 0. In 2024, he raped a woman, was sentenced to 14 months. He served 0. Minnesota judges let him plea both times. 2025, on probation, he kidnapped a woman and raped her for days. He kept her locked in a hole and raped her. Now let's make this clear. First of all, the judge absolutely needs to lose their license to be a judge. What are we even talking about? Second of all, we have to acknowledge the fact that, no, this culture is actually not very cool, and it doesn't really intertwine and mix with our culture very well. Because, you see, I personally grew up in a household where rape is considered bad. And I don't want to be Islamophobic here, but I personally think that rape is bad. And honestly, raping children, also bad. Sorry for the Islamophobia. Don't rape kids. But fundamentally, this is a systemic issue wrong with the entire leftoid facet of our country. This isn't soft on crime. This is literally pro-crime. I guarantee you, I put any money on this bet that this judge was a woman. Like, there's no way. Like, this is the misplaced empathy that only a female judge could actually do. Like, this is modern feminism, where women are so busy murdering their own babies in the womb that they have to put their biologically required empathy, because that's how women were designed by God or by nature, whatever you want to say. Women are empathetic people, and it's a wonderful thing that's normally designed to be targeted towards children, but no, not anymore, because they're forced to abort. They're societally convinced to abort their children, not get married, be miserable, lonely people, and their empathy needs to go elsewhere. So where does it go? It goes to the 2-time rapist that they release every time with 0 jail time. I just did some digging right now. It was a woman. This is the prosecutor that cut the plea deals. Yeah, Mary Moriarty. Wow, actual Sherlock Holmes villain. A female judge. It's every single time. It's a white liberal judge that's out here releasing these monsters from their cages. And this guy needed to be in a cage. Like, bro, she literally let the orcs back into the Shire. And this wasn't just an orc. This was an orc that's already killed people. This was or raped people. Like, this is a already convicted violent orc, as opposed to the orcs that are just, like, kind of unjudged. And therefore, the liberal mind thinks that, well, we should treat orcs the same way we treat anyone else. So this is an orc that has also been a multiple times rapist orc that's been released back. Now, if you want to be radicalized, I have more for you. Mohammed was sentenced in May in 2 previous rape cases, but served no prison time. This is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. This is a guy who's raped 3 people. The first one, a child, got 0 prison time. The second time, 0 prison time. And then he locked someone out in his house or whatever and raped her over multiple days. And now he's arrested again. Like, dude, what are we doing to ourselves, man? What are we doing? Now, a lot of people think that mass immigration is the destruction of Western civilization, and they're not wrong. But my bombshell finale of this video is actually the fact that, how are they getting here? Somalians did not develop hyper complicated submarines that managed to invade our sovereign seas and break into our country. Quite honestly, if they build a raft, it's definitely somebody on the above average intelligence scale of Somalia. Just putting some logs together seems to be a feat of cerebral might that honestly I don't expect from anyone. But the ones that are letting the orcs into the Shire, quite honestly, are the reasons for the destruction of Western civilization and its radical feminism. It's this hyper-feminized, radically emotional society that's just completely and utterly manipulated to have infinite empathy and feelings for the people that are coming to rape our country. And this is the symptom that exists throughout the Western world. So every time there's a mass immigration problem, it's the woman force that's voting them in. And I'm not even blaming women on an individual level. Absolutely not. It's this society that's crushing women and refusing to let them actually exist in the way God created them. You know, to get married and build a family and have some children and take care of them. Instead of that, they're being contorted to put their empathy elsewhere, taught that way and radicalized by colleges and universities and all these other shitholes that are honestly being funded by foreign adversaries. It was recently discovered that tens of billions of dollars went into the college system by Qatar. And then all of a sudden, we're churning out retards that want mass immigration. Is that really surprising? I mean, this is known at this point. Qatar pumping tens of billions into universities to help Muslim Brotherhood weaken U.S. and destroy democracy. Published by the New York Post. Like, what are we even talking about, man? Like it's literally in front of us. So this is another guy in little Somalia in Minnesota. His name is Khalil Ibrahim. He abducted a 12-year-old in Minnesota and raped her. Now, this is the craziest part. The St. Paul Islamic Center wrote a letter of community support to the pedophile. Because this is the most insane thing you're going to ever see in your entire life. Now, again, my job here is simply to radicalize you in the way that I want. So take it with a grain of salt. You don't need to listen to me. You just need to think for yourself. So they wrote this entire letter. We understand the members of the Somali community write this letter to express our strong and heartfelt support for this guy who's a pedophile who raped a 12-year-old. And the craziest thing is they say in this letter that this guy did not assimilate into non-Somali culture. Are you implying that raping 12-year-olds is some Somali culture? Is that what you're kind of saying? Muslim Somali sex gangs say raping white British children is part of their culture. Wow, it's almost like the Somali community in England isn't actually helping England a lot either. They seem to not even be the backbone and spine of the English nation either. It's pretty weird how this keeps happening from this similar group of people. Now, I am not racist, but I am not blind, and I do see patterns for what they are.
Out on probation for sexual assault is charged once again. This time,
he's a rapist.
Prosecutors say he picked up a woman he met on Snapchat and raped her at a hotel in Bloomington.
Like, dude, what?
Now, prosecutors once called this man an extreme public safety risk, but
Wow.
he never spent a day in
And they let him out to prowl on the streets because it's racist not to. And the woman that went out with this guy, bro, dude, where is this self-preservation skill? Oh my God.
Prison for his previous crimes. Fox 9's Mike Manzoni joining us from our newsroom now. And Mike, prosecutors signed off on plea deals in these previous cases.
Kelsey and Randy, a judge sentenced the Minneapolis man in those cases back in May, but he got credit for time
The Minneapolis man named Mohammed, police be upon him,
served, so he never went to prison. It was all part of a pair of plea deals. This is the man we're talking about. His name is Abdimahat Billy Muhammad, but prosecutors say the 28-year-old...
The feminists, they'll scream and cry about sexual assault and rape and sexual harassment. Like, dude, this is the number1 priority for all these guys. But they're going to let out a convicted multiple times rapist, a rape repeat offender, they'll let out of prisons because that's racist. It's just part of their culture, guys. Do you understand what we're dealing? We're not. This isn't functional, logical people. Like, we are dealing with people that are so actually brain broken. It's insane.
Uses the names Kareem and Altesto on Snapchat, and that is where investigators say he met his latest victim as well as his 2 previous ones. Prosecutors say he picked up his most recent
victim. So they didn't even ban this guy from Snapchat.
In Mankato back in September, then drove her to a hotel near the Mall of America where he took her phone, told her she wasn't leaving, raped her, and held her against her will for days. That's according to prosecutors.
Wow.
Investigators used DNA to identify Muhammad as the suspect.
So it's factual. It's not like even circumstantial evidence. Like, there's actual DNA evidence.
His profile was already in the database from previous...
because he raped 2 people in the past, including 1 child.
Cases involving sexual assaults in Minneapolis in 2017 and another one in 2024.
Wow.
A Hennepin County judge sentenced Muhammad in May in those cases, including one involving a 15-year-old girl. Prosecutors say 2 other unidentified men took part in that assault.
Oh, that we don't even know who they are. They're still wandering around. We don't know who those guys are. The one guy that we do know that raped the child is back on the streets.
Threatened the victim with a gun. But Muhammad never spent a day in prison, as we said, because he got credit for time served while awaiting trial as...
Great. He got credit for time served awaiting trial. So he got a trial, and they were like, well, you suffered enough by needing to come on to trial. And then they let him back out to rape more people. Very cool.
Part of a pair of plea deals.
See, I, personally, the right-wing guy, the misogynist, according to Twitter, am anti-rape. I actually don't want to see women getting raped in the streets. I know. It's pretty insane. It's Islamophobic to even say it.
We've reached out to the Hennepin County Attorney's Office for comment. A spokesman there told us it is checking into it.
Yeah, we're checking into it. So this is today, all right? This is breaking news from today. The fact that this dude actually managed to rape another person after getting released twice for raping people in the past. So, in final news, many Somalis are getting fed up with the West, saying they need to leave and go home. Well, I wanted to end on this very sad note. So yeah, that's where we're at today. That's what's going on in the world, in little Somalia, in Minnesota. Ilhan Omar, Tim Walz getting investigated by the FBI. Trump absolutely dropping fire. All they do is sit and bitch. I wanted to make this story known. I really did. I feel like it's not talked about enough. And I feel like people don't understand exactly why this is happening. Mass immigration is obviously one of the major issues of our time, but it's the cause of mass immigration that I think really needs to be identified as well. Because too many people are looking at the symptoms, but not willing to actually look at the disease. Deus Volt.